Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode of the Dan Dawson Show. So, as you guys saw from the last video, I've been up pretty late, or pretty early actually, and I had an interaction with one of my Facebook friends who I used to work with. She goes, emotions are not male or female, just show your emotions. So I very promptly explained to her why you don't want a very overly emotional man. You see? Because, let's just be biologically correct, there's one time a month where women get super emotional. So now imagine, and women are emotional creatures, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way God designed them. That's the way they're supposed to be. That's why men love them. Because it's something we're not supposed to be, or we're not in correct cases. She's like, oh, Dan, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you don't want an overly emotional man. Because then when you come to him with his emotions, he's going to respond out of emotion, not out of understanding. And I know you guys are thinking, well, why does Dan have this vicious attack dog? Well, you know, I'm very conservative, so got to watch your threats, so I keep my attack dog close to me. I'm going to get a holster for her. Yeah. But you don't want that over emotional man when you're coming to him trying to present him something that he should logically think through and help you with it. Take, for instance, if you have a death in the family or an emergency, and it's one of those emergencies where it's horrible and you're crying, if you call your man or you're talking to your man, all he can do is start crying and not help you. How valuable is that man? Or let's say it's one of those times where you're a woman, you're emotional about something, and your man responds out of emotion without being able to control his emotions. You know what that's called, ladies and gentlemen? Domestic violence. So no, women, you do not want an overly emotional man. And it takes me back to my grandfathers. See, they weren't overly emotional men. Like I said, very kind, very gentle. But I would laugh because I can remember back sitting in my grandpa's little house. And my grandmother's going off because she's upset. He was just sitting there stoic. Just stoic. We replied with something like, I love you too, honey. And after she was no longer emotional, they sat down and talked about the issue. You can't be overly emotional with your woman. You can't. You have to be logical and understanding and be able to pick up what she's telling you. And then if you look, like our old heroes, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne, Shaft, they weren't emotional men. They were stoic men. Men who would keep a cool head. Ladies, I'm telling you now, I know you think you want a man who just has raw emotions and shares those raw emotions. You really don't. That's why so many of you are going wrong. Get you a man who has a cool head. Get you a man who's not over emotional. Because see, they'll balance you out. A real man knows when to withdraw. When your lady's over emotional and you match her emotions, it's not good. And ladies, do you really want a man who cries at watching a Bambi movie? Do you really? Honestly? No, you don't. That's what the feminists and lesbians have told you want it. Because they want that equality. Everybody has to feel these raw emotions. Problem is that doesn't work well in a relationship. It doesn't. You have to balance each other. You have to balance each other. Most men are seclusionary. If you'll notice when you look at people shopping, it's mostly women. It's not men. But there's stuff out there that has to come from the store. That woman balances you out. If you're in a good relationship, when emotions need to be put forward for the kids, for family, for whatever, that woman will be able to do that because that's what she does. When you're in a good relationship, when cool heads need to prevail, that's what that man will do for you because that's what he does. If you're dating a man who gets upset when you're expressing yourself because he's responding to emotion, you're not dating a man. Sad news for you, ladies. Sad news for you. Think about that. Do you really want a man who responds to emotion? You don't. I'm telling you now, it doesn't work. It won't work. That's not the way humans are built. That's not the way men and women are built. In the last 50 years of trying to change men to that, have not been good. Not been good. That's why we have all these over-emotionally men who run around crying all the time. Please see my last comments on Don Lemon on CNN. The crying N-word network. It is what it is. I can't even deny it. Heard somebody say it, thought it was funny, and 100% correct. Do you want a man like that? Well, guess what, ladies? You can't get Don Lemon because he's gay. Because he's an over-emotional man. Now, I don't want to go into the whole homosexual thing. It's not my business. But he's an over-emotional man. You don't want an over-emotional man. If you want a Clint Eastwood, a man who loves you, protects you, provides for you, you can't select a Don Lemon and expect it to work. Because he's going to cry more than you cry. All I'm saying, ladies, hey, if your man uses more Kleenexes than you, find a new man. Thank you for watching this episode of The Dan Dawson Show. Like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do.